Well, a couple of weeks back, I spent a few weeks in London, and of course I went through to London Fashion Week. I met up with a man who does luxury sportwear, and of course I was in my element. That's not all. I also met a designer whose inspiration, or designed some of Lady Gaga's crazy headwear. Take a look at what happened.
London Fashion Week makes the world sit up and take notice. The city's voted the world's most fashionable capital for the second year running, thanks in part to the very successful 2012 Olympic Games. When it comes to the catwalk, Carl Reeves, lead hairstylist for Blanken, revealed the latest trends.
Now, for 4 seasons you've been doing Christian's show. How's this show differ from the others that we've seen in the past?
This year it's changed because we've been able to get a little bit more direction. Because when you first start as a designer, got to keep it simple, don't want to scare people away. So we've been able to really push it this season with hair. So I'm stoked to, be a part of the journey of Christian. So it's great.
And in terms of trends with hair, what are we seeing this season?
I've actually noticed a lot of wet hair, a lot of very structured hair. So we're getting away from this beautiful fluff, which I really love myself, but going back into this wet, very structured hair.
And how does the trends differ from the rest of the world? What we see in Europe, what we see in London, and what we see in South Africa and New York?
English designers are very, very different, but hair-wise, they all kind of see what New York does and they push it a little bit further. By the time it gets to London, then Italy kind of makes it back to beautiful, then France kind of changes it again. So it's a really interesting sort of roller coaster of hair, but definitely wet, kind of greasy, sort of shiny hair is kind of coming back in, that old grunge thing. It's kind of cool. I like it. That's good.
Not to wash your hair for 5 days, that look.
Wash it next month. This month I'm busy, next month's a holiday and we'll wash it after that. So that's good.
Blanken describes his collection as modern, not sweet. The look he introduced in the Portico rooms in Somerset House is razor sharp, yet wearable.
Christian, congratulations on your show this afternoon. I noticed something unusual for you, colour. You brought in a burst of colour. Where did you get your inspiration for that?
Well, I think it was... how can I say this? I think it was something that was mentioned, and I think it was a request that was made, and it was something I took on board. And actually, I wasn't too scared of colour this season, and I thought it fit the mood of the moment. So, yeah, I went out there and did it, basically.
You describe your range as sportswear. What do you mean by this?
So when I'm talking about sportswear, I'm not talking about athletic clothes. I'm talking about clothes that are very easy to wear, but can also be very luxurious at the same time. So it's the idea of taking quite a utilitarian shape. You take an unusual fabric, but put it in quite a streamlined, simple shape, and quite an everyday shape, rather than doing something very over the top with it. So that's the idea behind it.
Christian, you've lived in the Netherlands, New York, London, and the Far East. Where would you say your influence lies?
London, definitely for art and inspiration. I think Italy for craftsmanship and quality. I spend a lot of time there as well, working. And then I would say America for functionality, practicality, and a really sort of pragmatic point of view where clothing and fashion is concerned. So I would say that those 3 countries are the key ones. I think China's very interesting at the moment because obviously there's a huge sort of energy in cities like Shanghai and Beijing, and a lot of growth and a dynamic sort of feeling. So I think that's inspiring. Wherever I go, I pick something up, definitely.
Another highlight was accessory designer Fred Butler's unique brand of creativity. Head of makeup Ying Lee helped to create the buzz and proved she's a lady of many talents.
Kan jy glo al die pad in Engeland, iemand van Holland en sy kan Afrikaans verstaan? Yin, how are you? Hoe gaan dit?
Het gaat goed met jou?
Baie goed, dankie. Tell me, how's the preparations been going for Fred Butler's show?
It's been quite manic. I had to make a lot of eyelashes, which were quite individual, so it took me a long time to make, but it's all finished now, and now we just have to get ready and start with the show.
The inspiration behind Fred Butler's show today?
Basically, Fred Butler's collection this season is all based on honeybees and bumblebees. So we wanted to do something the same with the makeup. So all her accessories are quite gold. So her skin is going to be very golden. She's going to have little like yellow dots in her eyebrows, like she's been in the pollen, and she's going to have big fake lashes with lots of gold bits on it that come from Fred's collection, basically. And then just a nude, very glossy lip that looks like there's honey. And yeah, that's it, really.
Bianca, this looks absolutely incredible. I know this isn't the first show you've worked with Fred. You've done 2 or 3 of her shows before. You've done her lookbook as well. What's it like working with her, and what was your inspiration behind today?
Every show is amazing, and I think that the first show that I did with her, which was 2 seasons ago, the girls were beautiful and very clean hair. We always want them to look expensive, but like really cool at the same time. And then last season we did wigs that matched the knitwear that the girls were wearing. So, I mean, I guess this time we are probably working with the girls' hair a little bit more, setting up the base, but actually putting in these big fat plaits. We haven't done anything plaited for Fred before, so I think plaits are going to be big this season.
How long has it taken you to get the hair ready for today's show?
This is the queen bee that I'm working on right now. So her hair is much thicker than the little bees. So this is 2 bags of hair, and to plait these, it's actually a 4-strand plait, because I wanted the hair to kind of look a little bit like honeycomb. I mean, once you get your groove on in the plaiting motion, I think it took us about 3.5 hours to get, or maybe 4, to get all of the plaits done.
Fred Butler enjoys a cult celebrity following. Predicted to make a beeline for her 2013 collection are Lady Gaga and Beth Ditto. This season, she's inspired by gold.
Fred, your collection looks absolutely amazing. Tell me about the creative process behind it and getting to today.
Well, I wanted to make more of one piece that I did in the past, so I took that out, and that was the gold work embroidery on hexagons, and then it all came out of that, so I just applied that to different areas of the body, and yeah, came up with the backpack and all the different things.
Now, this is completely different from your last 2 collections. Why did you decide to go completely into the gold, into the bumblebees?
I just follow my instinct and my intuition, and that's the way I wanted to go. That's what was making me happy at the time, making things, so yeah.
And you're also very busy. You were involved with releasing a track today as well, especially behind design.
You can hear in the background, yeah. So that's part of the Red Bull Catwalk Studio project that made this all possible, yeah. I collaborated with a producer called 2 Inch Punch, and it's a buzzing, humming soundtrack to fit to the theme.
Fabulous, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
London Fashion Week trends for your wardrobe include adding a touch of gold and intense colours like coral and lemon on a foundation of grey or white. Tune in again for another international fashion fix.
Travel in award-winning style and comfort to London with South African Airways. Visit www.flysaa.com or your local travel agent to book. South African Airways, Africa's most awarded airline.